So the Honda ad that I like the most isn't Cog actually.
No.
I mean, I think Cog's okay, and you know,
Okay.
everybody's like, oh, Cog, you know, and it's good, you know, it's really good.
Yeah.
Congratulations
Thank you
on
very
Cog,
much.
Russell. I know that you were really
It's all
good
my
towards that.
idea, yeah.
No, the one that really, really blew me away was the diesel one,
Mm-hmm.
because for me, just as an over-intellectualizer, it just blew every convention of car advertising I could imagine. It was light, funny, childish, silly. I mean, it had all this kind of warm, fuzzy stuff going on, and yet it was arguably one of the most clear-minded product ads I'd ever seen. I mean, I just thought it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
So, how did that come about for you, from your point of view?
Well, there's two bits. I mean, I have to say the first thing is that I can't take most of the credit for it, sadly. I think the reason that it was, I guess the three bits of the equation. The first is the context in which we were operating.
Right.
That we'd created through 2 years of advertising and a relationship of trust with the client and
Right.
success, and also, you know, regular conversations where I particularly would go down to the client after we did COG. I kind of went and said, look, the one thing we must do is refuse to learn from our success here. You know, we do not, if we just turn into the COG company,
Cog 2.
it'll go horribly wrong. And just them being incredibly supportive of that. And actually,
Right.
the thing they said after COG, we had our kind of end of year assessment, and they gave us pretty good marks on most things, you know. And I can't remember how the scores were worked out, but COG wasn't in it. And they just said, we'll never do anything as good as that again, so let's not worry about it. Which was just, again, really kind of refreshing. It's, you know,
Right.
just that, on the one hand, they, you know,
So
gave
they
us-
saw it as a happy accident?
Yeah, and because we'd kind of said, you know, we're going to aim very high, and every now and then we'll have a hit, and they saw it as like one of the
That was
occasional
it.
hits. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so there was that context. Then there was Stuart, the other planner who was working on Honda, wrote the brief, did very diligent work, and, you know, again, it was about going the extra mile in terms of uncovering a culture. Him and a couple of creators went down to, forced their way into basically the press launch of the car, where the engineer, I can't remember his name, Mr. Heriducci? No. Anyway, can't remember his name. Started telling people about the car, and you know, it's a bunch of car journalists, like, oh, it's another diesel, whatever. Took a few desultory notes,
Right.
weren't that interested. He got really angry with them, kind of threw
Oh,
down the
interesting,
microphone,
really?
walked off.
Huh.
And Stuart and the critics kind of go, what's going on there? What's, you know, what, blah, 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 and discovered the story of basically this guy hates diesels, and had always refused to work on a diesel. Thought they were
Huh.
horrible, obsolete technology.
Right.
Blah blah blah. Honda, being smart, thought, who will build the best diesel? We'll get this guy to do it because he hates them.
Right.
Him being smart, focused engineer said, I will only build a diesel if I can absolutely rebuild it from the ground up.
Right.
So he decided they'd build an aluminium diesel, which had never been done before, which completely changed the nature of the engine.
Right.
Anyway, so Stuart came back and said, right, well, this is a car based on hate. And the only other bit that I could take any credit for was that we had done this COG spot, you know, which was brilliant, but had a kind of certain mood,
Right.
and worked in a particular way, you know, kind of long, visually intriguing thing,
Right.
and the voiceover comes in at the end and explains it,
Right.
kind of a little twist. And we'd been really determined not to do that again, but we went and did it again. So the spot after that, say similar, different, but similar kind of mood,
Right.
visual thing, voiceover comes in at the end, explains it.
Right.
And then we did a third spot along the same lines.
Right.
Now, I think most people in the world would have gone, hurrah, we finally got a campaign.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was just kind of going, oh, fuck, we're in a rut now. We're just going to keep doing this forever.
Right.
And so I've been walking around, and again, this is that thing of influence. I've been walking around for 6 months up to the point we did Diesel going, you know Garrison Keillor, who's the voiceover guy?
Right.
You know Garrison Keillor can sing. And
Well, of course.
wouldn't it be brilliant? Because I'd heard him on the radio
Right.
doing his show where he sings a lot. And I kept going, why don't we say, on the next spot, Garrison has to sing? Because if we do a spot where he has to sing, then everything else will change. You can't
Right.
do one of those moody cog-like things with Garrison singing.
Right.
And that's why, that's the other reason why the kind of the ad is as it is, because everyone kind of got this idea of, and the creators, of course, you give them the thing of, let's write a song for Garrison. They adore, you know, so they, first thing they did when they got hate was write a song.